New search warrants show beer and liquor were found in the car of a man accused of killing a family in Garner. What else they reveal happened in the hours leading up to the crash. Plus, could new technology help prevent tragedies like this from happening? Our live conversation with a local mom on a mission to make it happen.
The Harney County Sheriff's Office is investigating allegations of misconduct between teachers and students here at Triton High School. We'll tell you what we know.
We're looking at 2 more rounds of rain and storm chances before we get a break. I'll outline the rest of your week and your weekend.
But first, right now at 7 o'clock, we're tracking some storms popping up in parts of our area as we take a look here at the radar tonight at 7 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Haggerty.
And I'm Ashley Rowe. We're keeping our eye on the risk for severe weather tomorrow, but boy, doesn't it look beautiful in Beaufort. These parts of our viewing area could see heavy rain and damaging wind. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a timeline on the threat. Kat.
Those storms that are set to be a bit stronger should arrive tomorrow afternoon. I would say between about 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. For us today, we've been tracking some storms to our west. The intensity of those certainly dying down. Not as much lightning, but there are some storms moving into Siler City. We're seeing some rain moving into the Sand Hills and Moore County, but not terribly potent out there. Tomorrow, let's take a look at what could happen. Lunchtime, things are still quiet for us, but as we get past about 3 o'clock, I think that's the time frame when we could see storms. So for kids still in school, I think they'll be okay heading home to mainly dry weather. But by 4, 5, 6, we see storms scattered in the western half of our viewing area, and those continue to move east and should fade once we get past sunset. There will be the potential for a few strong to severe storms tomorrow, damaging wind gusts, localized flooding. Those would be the main concerns, primarily in the northern half of our viewing area where there's the level 1 risk. It's just one more day of storm chances tomorrow, though, and then we get a break. I'll let you know for how long coming up.
All right, Kat, thank you. And make sure that you have the WRAL News app so that you can take the radar with you anywhere. If you have your notifications turned on, you'll get alerts if there is a threat in your community.
So this is the first time now we are seeing Jordan Porter. This is the driver facing now second-degree murder charges in a crash that killed a family of 3 in Garner. A family member of Porter's provided this photo to us. He hasn't been served yet, so that's why you're not seeing a mugshot of him. First on WRAL, new warrants reveal now that it's alleged he was drinking and smoking marijuana before this terrible accident. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan explains there was a hearing on this case today.
Yeah, so Dan, after Jordan Porter was indicted on those 3 second-degree murder charges, a hearing was held this morning in the Wake County Justice Center in Superior Court, and that's when a judge preset Porter's bond to $3 million, and he did that because Porter has not been charged yet. Now, the judge also ordered Porter to not have any contact with the victims in this case, and today we're also hearing from his attorney for the first time. Inside this Chevy Trailblazer driven by Jordan Porter that police say ran a red light on Highway 70 in Garner going 82 in a 45, Garner police found an airplane bottle of liquor, open beer cans and bottles, a 12-pack of beer, as well as rolling papers. A search warrant of Shelby Porter's phone, Jordan's wife, also revealed that while she was being interviewed, she stated her husband had consumed 2 to 3 beers while at Rainbow Lanes in Clayton and also smoked marijuana before leaving the house to go to work. She also stated they knew that vehicle was in need of repair work and the brakes and steering had issues, and they were planning to sell it. That warrant also said that DMV records confirmed that car hadn't had any safety inspection performed since February of 2020. That crash killed 2 adults inside this Mazda, 28-year-old Tyler Campbell and his wife, 29-year-old Susan Campbell. Their 8-year-old son, Miles, was taken to Wake Med in critical condition. He was declared brain dead the day after that crash. Porter was declared impaired at Wake Med and originally charged with drunk driving. He had 3 vials of blood taken at the hospital. Today, I spoke to Porter's attorney, Carl Knudsen, who told me his blood alcohol level was less than the legal limit based on the information we have. This is a horrible tragedy all the way around. 3 really nice people got their lives cut short, but sending Jordan to prison for the rest of his life would not change that. Porter is expected to be in court tomorrow, but the DA says this case will likely be continued. He has more than a dozen past charges, many of them traffic violations, out of both Johnston and Wake County. Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News, Raleigh.
And folks are just mourning the family that was killed here. There's a memorial service for the Campbell family that has begun, a visitation happening tonight, actually, in Ellenboro. It's in the western part of the state near Charlotte. The funeral is going to be there tomorrow. A memorial service is also happening this weekend in Garner at a building at Summit Church uses this building on Vandora Springs Road. That is set for, again, Saturday at 3 p.m. And in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about an organization's efforts to help prevent something like this from happening to other families in the future. It's a live interview we'll show you coming up.
I'm Brian Schrader, all new in the WRAL Live Center, tracking two traffic problems right now in the Triangle. First of all, in Durham, we have a gas leak that has closed a section of Anger Avenue between Pleasant Drive and Glover Road. We first heard this on the scanners here in the WRAL Live Center around 3:30 this afternoon. Durham County Sheriff just in the past 15 minutes saying that section of Anger Avenue remains closed. We're working to learn more about the nature of that leak. Also in South Raleigh, a crash on 40 eastbound just beyond Rock Quarry Road. They've cleared it largely, but we still have some activity there on the right shoulder. We are seeing some delays there as you head away from Rock Quarry Road toward the 440 split.
All right, Brian, thank you. Officials are looking into allegations of an inappropriate relationship between a student and a teacher at Triton High School. WRAL's Gilbert Bays spoke with school leaders and law enforcement to see what actions are being taken.
Well, I've talked with several people who didn't want to go on camera about the allegations. They're disturbing, and the sheriff's office has been investigating them since May 10th. School is out for what could be a long, hot summer, but things had been heating up on campus here at Triton High School long before school got out. The internet and social media have been flooded with accusations of an inappropriate relationship between a teacher and a student. We reached out to school leaders who say they're limited in what they can say, but provided a statement which said in part, "We can confirm that we conducted a careful review of the information we received, informed law enforcement as necessary, and took appropriate personnel action based on what we learned from our investigation." Sheriff Wayne Coates confirms his office has launched an investigation. In a post on his social media page, the sheriff says, "It has come to my attention that students, parents, or members of the public are concerned and may have information that could assist in this ongoing investigation." Kristen DeRange is the executive director of Safe Child. She says it's tough to get young victims to talk about these types of allegations for several reasons.
But it's very confusing for these children. And then they struggle with the conflict of, if I say something, this person might get in trouble.
What would you tell a child right now who's listening, who's on the fence about coming forward with information?
I would just encourage them to not suffer in silence. Find someone in their life that they trust, so the abuse that's happening can stop and never happen again.
So this is an ongoing investigation. Right now, no charges have been filed, but the sheriff wants anyone who has information about what may have happened here to give his office a call. In Harney County, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
And we do have contact information for the sheriff's office with this story on WRAL.com. You can report your information and remain anonymous. A Fayetteville man is accused of taking a picture under a woman's skirt at a Food Lion in our area. Patrick Clark is charged with felony secret peeping. Deputies say the victim was grocery shopping when Clark walked up to her from behind and used his cell phone to take the photo. This happened at the Food Lion on Clinton Road in Cumberland County. Investigators say they got reports that Clark may have committed similar acts in the past.
A panel of judges says NC State must let more PCB testing happen at Poe Hall. Former grad student Dr. Darren Mazur is battling leukemia. He took the university to court trying to get access to Poe Hall and to do some more testing to find out if PCBs in the building contributed to his cancer and to the cancer of other people. NC State tried to stop that from happening, but the North Carolina Appeals Court ruled today that Mazur's experts should be allowed in.
Now we can get in there and do the testing and get the answers. One way or the other, I just wanted to get those answers.
The same judges today did block Mazur's attorneys from obtaining documents and depositions from NC State leaders.
A dog in Goldsboro is now in recovery after it was discovered abandoned on the side of the road. I do want to warn you that the video you're about to see is hard to watch. This dog was found on Ferry Bridge Road last night. The woman who found her got a tip from a friend about what they believe was an intentional dumping. She says it was something she will never forget.
There was no life, no movement. The only thing that moved on her were her eyes. So you wouldn't have seen her if you didn't know where to look.
Officials say if you see an abandoned dog, report it right away.
Still ahead, some more forever chemicals found in North Carolina drinking water. What a new report is detailing about the contamination across our state and in our area. Plus, the soccer tournament has officially kicked off in the Triangle. We'll give you a look at the star-studded event on day one coming up.
A few minutes ago, we told you the driver charged in a crash that killed a family of 3 in Garner is accused of drinking and smoking before getting behind the wheel. We want to bring in Jennifer Littnager with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, who fights to keep impaired drivers off the road every day. Jennifer, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
The driver, as you know, facing second-degree murder charges. Investigators found beer in his car. What's your reaction to the latest information from investigators about this case?
Well, first, my heart goes out to all of those who knew and loved the Campbell family. It's such a horrific tragedy, and in so many ways made more unbearable by the fact of how needless and senseless and absolutely preventable it was. As far as the specifics in the case, I'm not really familiar, but I do know that in North Carolina, since 2019, we've had a 19% increase in drunk driving fatalities. So we need drunk driving to be prioritized across law enforcement and the justice system in North Carolina.
You work a lot about change. You've been working tirelessly to get impaired driving prevention technology put into new vehicles. Where does that stand right now?
Yeah, so this is actually something that Mothers Against Drunk Driving has been working on from a national perspective for many years now. And in 2021, we had the HALT Act was signed into law. And right now, we are in the regulatory or rulemaking phase of the law. So the Department of Transportation is now in the process of working on a regulation for the technology for automakers to follow.
How does it work? Explain to the folks that don't know what the HALT Act is all about.
So the HALT Act actually directs the federal government to require all new cars come equipped with impaired driving detection technology. And this technology, it's a smart technology that stops impaired driving. It's, passive and unobtrusive. It's not like a ignition interlock device where you have to blow into something. It would go unnoticed by anyone in the vehicle unless the driver is impaired. It's intended to keep the driver safe and all of the people around them safe.
We only have a few more seconds, so just to be clear, this is something that the Transportation Safety Administration is working on right now. We could see that be implemented in future cars in next year?
Yes, well, hopefully it'll be, we believe that we could see vehicles rolling off the assembly line as early as 2027. So that's very exciting. And even with, just one more thing to mention is that this technology could tackle so many types of impairment, not just drunk driving. So in the cases of the increase of marijuana use that we're seeing and other drug use or so many different impairments, this technology can actually help stop that.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you for all the work that you do to try to keep impaired drivers off the road. Really appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Interesting. Today, state senators talked about a bill that would increase penalties for people who attack power stations. This proposed bill would make it a high-grade felony to purposefully damage or attempt to damage an energy facility. It was inspired by the attack that disabled 2 electrical substations in Moore County in December of 2022. We all remember that mess. Thousands of customers lost power for 5 days. And here we are 18 months later, and still no one has been arrested. A new report out today shows that millions of North Carolinians have drinking water that is contaminated with unsafe levels of forever chemicals, also known as PFAS. These chemicals don't break down naturally, and they have been linked to major health risks, including cancer. The new report from Environmental Working Group found North Carolina's largest utilities had PFAS levels above federal limits, including the city of Durham and Fayetteville Public Works Commission. Robeson County has some of the highest PFAS levels in the state. Orange Water and Sewer found 11 PFAS in one of its reservoirs.
And there are a number of municipalities across North Carolina that do not meet the standards. The real question is, who's going to pay to clean it up? Are the polluters going to pay, or are everyday people, when they get their water bill, going to pay?
In April, the EPA passed drinking water limits for 6 PFAS that will require utilities to make upgrades to filter out the chemicals. The Department of Environmental Quality has proposed rules to stop PFAS pollution at the source, but the process has been delayed by Republican lawmakers.
Here's a live look at Carolina Beach. We've got a little bit of the wind that we've been noticing in some of our various live shots across the region. Meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us now. Kat, that's a beautiful shot out in Pinehurst, and I can see the flags waving in the wind there.
And it's going to be even windier tomorrow as the cold front moves in. We're actually going to see the winds pick up a bit throughout the day. It'll be a bit blustery at times tomorrow. Pinehurst looking good ahead of the U.S. Open. There is some rain in the distance here. Nothing terrible. It's not very heavy, but there is some rain around Moore County right now that we're tracking. Some spotty showers. Then we also have some rain, a thunderstorm near Burlington and Alamance County, the Mebane area. We're going to watch that as it continues to drift toward Chapel Hill and could eventually arrive in Durham if it's able to hold together this evening. Your 90-degree day count for June just yesterday. So far at RDU, we averaged 10, so we've got a long ways to go, but the forecast actually doesn't look all that hot, at least for the 7-day forecast. The one exception, tomorrow we're forecasting 90. It is going to be awfully humid tomorrow. The heat index could be in the mid to upper 90s for a short window of time. As we get into the weekend, though, we're at 87 for Friday. That's what it's going to feel like outside. 85 Saturday, and not much of a difference even Sunday when temperatures reach the upper 80s. That's a sign that the humidity is backing off, and that's certainly good news that it's lining up with the weekend. We just have one more day of storm chances to get through, and that comes tomorrow. We're likely to be dry in the morning. During the afternoon, just a small chance of a storm. Best chances would be 4 to 9 p.m. Not everybody's going to see a storm tomorrow. These are going to be more scattered summertime storms, but they could be a bit stronger because they're developing out ahead of a cold front, and that's going to increase the wind shear in the atmosphere. And that's the ingredient that thunderstorms use to strengthen and organize. We haven't had a lot of it around in the past days, and that's why we really haven't seen these storms hold together for very long. It's just been some heavy rain. But tomorrow there could be some localized flooding, and on top of that, damaging wind gusts. And that's really going to be the difference tomorrow, that level 1 threat for severe storms. But let's talk about the severe weather season. The recap from the Storm Prediction Center just came out today. And if it seemed like we were talking about tornadoes a lot over the past couple of weeks, we were. There were over 750 tornadoes in the U.S. in April and May alone. That is holding second place. Records go back to 1950, and 2011 was the most active spring severe weather season on record. We had 29 violent tornadoes, and that's classified as EF3 or greater. No EF5 tornadoes this spring. But that info just came out today. Wanted to update you on it. Luckily, we didn't see any here in our viewing area, but we're not in the clear yet. Sometimes we can see spin-ups during the summer months, especially as we get into tropical season. Your 7-day forecast, hot, humid, stormy tomorrow, and then a nice little break just in time for the weekend. Saturday looks like the best day for outdoor plans this weekend, but Friday looks pretty good too. As we get into Sunday night, that's our next chance for rain, and it's only 20% right now.
All right, Kat, thank you.
So it's bringing people from all over the world to our area. We got to look at this year's famous The Soccer Tournament and who you can see some famous faces in the Triangle in the next several days. This morning at the Durham County Courthouse, a crowd gathered to celebrate Juneteenth with a flag-raising ceremony.
The event recognizes the end of slavery in the United States and marks the 4th year since Durham County Commissioners made Juneteenth a county holiday. Reenactors brought the Buffalo Soldiers' role in that history to life, and Durham County Commissioner Nimashina Burns says more work needs to be done.
As we raise the Juneteenth flag this year, let it not flutter as a symbol of past freedoms won, but let it wave as a call to action. This is not just about barbecues and parades. This Juneteenth, I urge you to engage more deeply in our community.
Community members and visitors can view the official Juneteenth flag flying from June 5th to the 19th at the Durham County Courthouse. Well, celebrities, stars, soccer fans from all over the world are descending on Cary as the soccer tournament kicks off.
I really like this tournament. It's back now for another year, and it really is fun. So it's bigger and better than ever this year. More games, more teams, more soccer-obsessed fans showing up. This year, 48 men's teams and 8 women's teams are competing for million-dollar prizes. There are also autograph signings and food from so many different countries. All the countries being represented on the soccer pitches will have some type of food truck or something like that there to represent their countries, making a long trip for some fans to get here very much worth it.
I'm a big soccer fan. I play on my own club myself, Hawks FC. The drive here was not that fun. I was really just sitting on my iPad the whole time for the whole 11 hours.
Oh, man, 11 hours. That is a long one, big guy. That's a long ride. The soccer tournament runs through June 10th, and a lot of people are going to be celeb watching here. You know, Ryan Reynolds' team, Wrexham, from the Hulu series, they are there, so maybe he'll show up. Chad Ochocinco, Pat McAfee, J.J. Watt, plus soccer stars like Sergio Aguero, Mario Balotelli, and DeMarcus Beasley. All of them are going to be here. The women's tournament, former U.S. national team player Heather O'Reilly, Ali Krieger, and Ali Long are on a team as well. So games continue through the weekend. And again, there's million-dollar prizes up for grabs.
Yeah.
So somebody leaves with a lot of money, which is fun too.
So cool. So glad that it's back, and it's just continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Awesome. Thanks for making WRAL your choice for local news.
Our next newscast is at 10 o'clock on Fox 50, and we'll see you back here on WRAL tonight at 11. Have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.